What's up, guys? I'm back. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. So, as you know, I stepped away for a bit during all this crazy time just to get away from all the negativity and all the bullshit that is all over the place on social media and whatnot. And I decided that I'm just gonna create some positive content and not read any of the stuff that floats around, any of the comments, any of the nonsense out there. So the reason that I'm back now is I'm about to start my half marathon plan for an October race, which frankly, we don't know if it's gonna happen. Right now it says that it's up there. It's gonna happen October 27th, I believe, is the Lighthouse Loop half marathon. If you guys are paying attention to what I've been doing last year, this is the race that was just about dead on a week after I fell and cut up my hand on an oyster bed fishing last year in the Halifax River right there in Ponce Inlet, Florida. And that race was an absolute disaster. I had screwed up my training. It was unseasonably warm last race. It was muggy, it was warm. I was on a crap ton of antibiotics that were pretty strong because that's what they prescribe when you get a shellfish laceration like I did. The oyster incident, as I refer to it. So that race was an absolute disaster last year. So I'm trying to redeem myself. Since then, I've been running a little bit more consistently. I took basically most of November off. I did one run, and it was I think it was a virtual 5K I did. So that race was October 24th or something last year. Basically took a month off until November, I think it was Thanksgiving, November 23rd, whatever it was last year. Ran a race on Thanksgiving, a turkey trot that I did. Took just about all of December off. I think I took all of December off and then started running after the new year. And I've been consistently running since then. So it's July. So this is my 7th month of consistent runs. Not as consistent or high mileage as I maybe would have liked, but I'm consistently running. So I feel like I'm in some of the best shape of my life. I'm the lightest I've been probably since my mid-20s. I've been trying to eat right, no soda, not even like ginger ale. I've just like cut all that bullshit out. Now don't get me wrong, I love sugar in my coffee and I eat a crap ton more ice cream than I should. But I've tried to eliminate some of that low-hanging fruit, just get it out of my life. I used to drink soda constantly. If I was on an inspection or out and I had to stop to get gas, damn straight I was going in that store and getting a 20-ounce cherry Coke. I loved it, and I don't really miss it, so that's a great thing about it. But anyway, so the reason I'm back doing this is to get some positive content, get some stuff about a guy that's trying to figure out balancing work and kids and marriage and running for a half marathon. So I had attempted this one time, all audio in like a podcast format, and it kind of didn't really, it was kind of forced. It helped me a lot. I did it right after my mother passed away, and it helped me a lot, get a lot of stuff out that I wanted to talk about and felt I needed to talk about. And it helped me a lot, but kind of, I tried to over format it and tried to force it to be something it wasn't. So I stopped doing it. I think I did like 6 episodes, 5 or 6. I never put them out. I just kind of sat on them. I wanted to build up a library and then put them all out at once, just so that people had some content to go back and listen to. Because, as everybody knows, I'm not telling anybody anything new. We all like to binge stuff. If there's one episode and you got to wait till next week, most people are going to skip it. They're going to come in when there's 6 episodes and they're going to listen to all 6 in a row or all 6 in 1 week or whatever. That was the idea. And it just, when I was editing them and listening back to them, a lot of the things I was trying to do felt forced and it wasn't natural. So I think what I'm going to do this time around is try to put together some stuff, maybe, I don't know, once a week or something like that after a run, where it's just off the top of my head and I'm just going to put it up And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about my training plan. I'm going to talk about how I'm feeling, what I'm going through, maybe talk about some of this coronavirus stuff, decisions we're making about the kids and school and jobs, and who knows, I may not even get into all that because it just opens up a can of worms. But you know, part of this is talking about what I'm going through. It was, like I said, it was very therapeutic to just have this brain dump of things that you can talk about, because you know, I mean, you could only talk about the same thing so many times with your spouse, you know, and it's like you're rehashing the same thing over and over again. And you know, sometimes you just need a brain dump, and you don't feel like doing that to your spouse all the time. You know, like I don't need the brain dump when I come home from work. Although you do sometimes, and you do it, and your spouse is there to help you with that. But I don't need to do that constantly about the minutia of my day. That's what we have you guys for. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just all kinds of thoughts and things about the training plan and life in general and what I'm going through. So this October, Lighthouse Loop half marathon. Don't know if it's actually going to happen, but I'm going to train for it as if it does. And if it's one of those deals where, you know, we're a week out and they say, hey guys, you have to wear a mask to run this half marathon, I'm not going to do it. I will let them keep my money, and I'm going to run the next day. I live like 5 miles from where this half marathon takes place. I'll just drive up there the next weekend and do it myself. And that has nothing to do with any political BS about whether you shouldn't wear masks. That's just, I'm not going to run 13 miles with a face covering. That's just not what I'm going to do. I am fully supportive of wearing a mask when you need to, and when people ask you to. But I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know if they're going to have the after party. I don't know how they're going to hand out medals. I don't know how they're thinking of the logistics of all of this. Just about every race that I've thought about, or that I usually run this time of year, has been either canceled or postponed twice. For example, I have run a wounded warfighter lone sailor run in Orlando, and I've even done it virtually, and they just straight postponed it. It's usually in April, and they've postponed it to June, then they postponed it again. The Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers 5K is in September every year, and they've canceled it for 2020. They're not going to do it this year. They've postponed it to 2021. Now that's a run that I already signed up for me and Jacob, and they're like, well, we'll credit you for next year. I don't give a shit. Keep the money. You know, everything that foundation has done for military, first responders, they can keep my $60, $70, whatever it was, and then I'll make a donation next year if they give me a credit for it. I say way too much. I apologize. So that's what I'm going to do with regards to that, but that's not going to happen until next year. So I'm thinking of doing something here, and ask you guys maybe to make a donation to the foundation on my behalf, and I'll run a 5K on, I don't know, maybe September 11th or the weekend thereafter, and we can ask you all to make a donation or something like that. We'll get there. We'll talk about that in another video. But I don't know what this Lighthouse Loop is going to look like. I haven't signed up for it yet, and I probably won't until we get closer and figure out what's going on. It's such a weird time, as everybody knows. We don't know what the hell is going to happen. And anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to keep these videos relatively short. I know you guys don't want to hear me ramble on about every single thing that I could possibly talk about, so I'm going to keep them short, keep them fun, lighthearted, and we'll get to see how I do. Last year was a disaster. Like I said, I was running to get to an hour and 45 and a half marathon. That was my goal last year. And within the first 5K, I knew that wasn't going to happen. I was hurting unbelievably. And I couldn't keep the pace. I could barely keep the pace the first 2 miles. And I pushed through to like 3-4 miles, kicked it down a notch to 5 miles. By mile 6, I was like, I can't do this. There's no way. There's nothing in the tank. And so I ended up walking and running and walking and running and walking and running. And I came through, I think, 2 hours and 2.5, 2:40, something like that. Like almost an hour longer than I had been training at. So it was an absolute disaster. But anyway, to not make excuses, it was just an absolute disaster. So this year I'm shooting for the hour 45-minute goal again. I've been running really well. The last 5K I ran, I came really close to setting a personal best. And the one before that, I did set a personal best. So I'm getting there. I feel really strong and possibly the best shape of my life, other than like maybe senior year of high school, freshman year of college. So it's pretty incredible when you're consistently running and eating better and doing work. That Murph challenge I did was incredible for Memorial Day. I think it really helped me out a lot with doing, anytime you mix it up and do some kind of cross training that's other than running. There's plenty of running for the Murph challenge, but there was box jumps, there's inverted rows and mountain climbers and burpees and all these different things that hit muscle groups in a different way. I mean, it can't be bad for you, long haul, change up your muscle, the way your muscles use. So it helped a lot. And I think I'm in some pretty good shape as far as running is concerned. So we'll get there. We'll see. We'll catch up again in about a week. I officially start this Sunday, the 3rd. And it's a 12-week program. It's a Hal Higdon plan. It's the Novice 2 plan. I was going to do the intermediate plan, and I was just concerned with the mileage. It seemed really high compared to what I usually do, and I don't want to. Has this thing been on my forehead this whole time and nobody told me? Really? The mileage seemed really high for what I normally do on a weekly and monthly basis. I didn't want to jump up too much because I've done that before and I screwed up my hip. So what I'm thinking is keep it to the Novice 2 plan this year, still get plenty of work, plenty of practice for the race, and I should be fine. And then next year kick it up to intermediate if my mileage continues and builds over the next year. So I'm already looking at next year's race. I feel like every race is for some reason, and I don't want to lose focus on this race, and I don't usually, but every race builds for the next one. You can learn something, whether it's your nutrition, your hydration, your training, your race day preparation, whatever it is. Every time you do it, you learn something for the next one. So that's what the goal is, hour 45. And we'll get there. We're going to do it. And you guys are going to get to see how it goes and listen to me talk about what I'm going through. So love you guys. I appreciate, again, all you guys always tuning in and listening to me babble and supporting all these things I do. And we'll talk soon, guys. Love you.